So this is literally like my 6th time trying to make this video. Every time like I get going, it's like I get hit with like something. I like fog, like I don't know, man. Not being able to like put my thoughts together, like something's hitting me. Like something doesn't want me to make this, or I guess get this out, but whatever. Keep going, right? So, if at any time, I don't know, I stop, like I pause for a second, that's just me trying to get my thoughts together before I continue on. Because, like, normally I don't generally have problems making videos. I get an idea and I kind of go with, what I'm saying. But like I said, this has been weird. Okay, so we've been hearing a lot about this object, 3i Atlas, and I've even spoken previously in videos where I've talked about, like, when you hear them talking about aliens and stuff coming from other sides of the galaxy, you need to question that. And you need to question it because it's part of a narrative that they're trying to spin. Okay? The narrative being that we are completely alone here and something's coming from somewhere else, and that's the discovery, right? Well, I'm going to tell you, to the best of my knowledge, how this is actually laying out. And there are there's details that I don't have. There's information that I'm not going to sit here and tell you, like, oh, yeah, obviously, when I don't know fully. I can only tell you what I've been told, or I can only impart what I've been shown. Okay? So first I want to say really quick that space, or what we think of as space, it's weirder than that. Okay? And this kind of moves into that territory of, like, me not exactly knowing what it is. But I don't believe for a second that it is what they say it is. Like, you just leave, you go off through the atmosphere, through the ionosphere, and you're just into vacant space. Like, that's not what it is. Okay? Now, whether you're dealing with layers of a firmament, whether you're dealing with, I don't know. Quantum pockets, who knows? Okay? But when we look up at the sky, or point to these things that we refer to as stars, they're not trillions of miles away on the other side of oblivion. That's just not what it is. Okay? So we're dealing with movements, precision, cycles that are not what we've been told. Okay? I was shown an object, and this object is what they're referring to as Atlas, right? And it's out there. It's getting closer, but I'm not necessarily sure how that transit takes place, if that makes any sense. It's not heaving through a gulf, a vacant gulf. Something else is going on. But it's out there. And whether or not the timeline of when it necessarily gets closest to Earth, or, I don't know. But it's out there. And it is getting closer. And this is the part where it's going to seriously deviate from what's currently being talked about. The object is a sphere. It's a metal sphere. It's really, really, really big. And it's getting a hell of a lot closer to us. I've spoken before about the spheres. They are created by a race that calls themselves the Tulari. I've communicated with them. I've been shown things by them in increments. And I've spoken about them in multiple videos. Go back, like you'll see, like I'll talk about them here, I'll talk about them there. I tried to explain what the spheres were to the best of my ability. This footage that gets released, like all these like congressional hearings, and they're releasing, this UFO footage. You'll find that probably like 8 out of 10 of those videos are metal spheres. And that's because, in my estimation, in my belief, the spheres are a clear and present threat to the current world order. They're anomalous because they have no control of them. They're dangerous because they're not part of the agenda. Okay? See, that was a pause. Getting my thoughts together. The Tulari, I don't like, because I don't want to get into like, they were here a long time ago. That's all I'll say. They were here a long time ago. Like antediluvian long time ago. And they've observed, they've protected, they've, like if you've heard stories about like UFOs like shutting down weapons depots and military operations, installations that just get shut down. That was them. And again, 9 times out of 10 you'll see a sphere fly by. That's them. Okay? The multiverse is a very big place. And the next question I guess people are going to ask is, like, who are they with? Are they angels? Are they... Maybe. Are they like a class of angels? Possibly. What's really interesting is that, just to deviate for a second, when we think about heaven or the heavenly realm, see, people like to think of it as just like, we've been brainwashed into, immediately thinking about clouds and, fluffy clouds and rays of sunlight and all that crap, and cherubs, like, naked little cherubs bouncing on. No, it's not that. You're dealing with a realm. You're dealing with almost like a universe. And there are worlds within that universe. Like, it's not just us. And if that's the case, like, don't you think, like, God made other beings that didn't F up? You know what I'm saying? like, maybe, I'm pretty sure God got it right a few times outside of humanity. And that's all I'll say about that, because like I don't know. I know they're here to help, and those spheres have become more and more common recently because something is about to happen. I have taken at least, I don't know, like a dozen videos. Probably I know there's one within the last month. It's probably the best one I've gotten. Glowing orb, and that's them. Like, they can light up, they'll start to, they look like stars. Like, they'll sit up in the sky and they look like stars at first, and then they start moving, interacting, watching. The one that's headed towards us right now is a big one. Really big. And part of the reason I think that it's making itself visible in that way is almost to like represent like a countdown or a clock. It's it's like a countdown. What I was told is, like, they're here to help bring down the pillars of control of subjugation. And that's where I'll segue into the next part, because I've spoken about this so much. But like, one of the reasons why this whole, are aliens coming thing is so irritating to me is because they're already beings here right now in this world, planet, whatever. And they are what you would consider to be aliens. Definitely not native to this place, but they have taken it over. They have acted as an invasive force, and they've been here for a while. But they hide, they blend in, they manipulate and control from the shadows. And a lot of the governments of this world, secret societies, like, they've made deals with these entities for control, for power. They've sold out humanity, as it were. But because, we've been brainwashed, into thinking that an alien invasion has to be Independence Day, War of the Worlds, we can't contemplate the idea that maybe there was an invasion and it happened a long time ago and nobody really knew, because things kind of continued on as normal. But it wasn't normal. It was a quiet manipulation, subversion. And I can't really tell you exactly when it really, hit the fan, as it were. some reason, I'm thinking in the 1940s is maybe when our world was opened up to them, really opened up, you know, that was like around the time they put their foot through the door, metaphorical foot as it were. They're already here, and they not only do they manipulate and subjugate through quiet means, they're like parasitic. They feed off of us. In a lot of ways, people are like cattle to them. And that's why I said this whole thing about the truth about aliens, about it's so dark. It's so dark that they'll never tell you exactly what it is. Because how would they look? How would they look if people really knew? So that's where I come back to the idea that, remember I said in a previous video, I said, it's only two possibilities, right? The first possibility is that in order to, I don't know, make an immediate deviation in the narrative, they try to outwardly fake something. You know, a la, there's an episode of The Outer Limits that I've mentioned before called The Architects of Fear. This is really funny when you think about it, The Architects of Fear. And I think about Masonic, the Grand Architect, whatever. Where they fake an alien invasion to garner support. Even Reagan said, wouldn't it be cool if like there was a force from outside of the universe that caused us to come together? Well, yeah, it's been seeded into our consciousness for a while, but it's still not the truth. So the way I see it is, the spear makers, when they make themselves known, fully known, they're going to be interpreted as the bad guys. That's the way I see this playing out now. That's what I was shown. They're going to be hailed as like an invading force. But that's not what they are. They're here to help us get our house in order. Because the real invading force has been here and it refuses to show its face. Its many faces. I think things are only going to get stranger. And more things are going to be revealed in the next couple of months. There's going to be a lot of obfuscation. There's going to be a lot of manipulation. They're going to try to distort and maneuver the narrative to suit them best. That's what they always have done. That's what they will always continue to do. They can't do any different. Everybody's got to make a choice. Everybody's got to follow their gut, what they know. And so, yeah, I'm going to leave you with this little bit of information that was revealed to me. And when you understand this, you're going to say, oh, okay, I get it now. How certain truths can be revealed in the strangest ways, right? Okay, so the object has the moniker of Atlas, right? Who is Atlas? Atlas was the Titan that had to hold the earth on his back. But that part was a lie. If you go back and look and really look at all the depictions of Atlas, he wasn't holding the earth. He was holding a sphere. So yeah, that's my message. That's what I have to say about that. Feel free to ask any questions if you have any. And if any part of this, strikes a chord, please share this video. I'm hoping that it reaches the right people. May not be a lot of them, but just the right ones. And yeah, I'm me. I'm hoping you guys are still being you. I'll talk to you when I talk to you.